I'm done with her. I'm done with her.
A whole mood right now.
She is a whole mood. Okay, I guess I could pause my lunch. Let me eat one more.
Sunglasses and bun. Hi, Tanisha.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
All right. So I think we're lit. So we are today so excited that you have taken the time to join me on this here Monday, July 27th. Let me co-host Taylor real quick if it gets I thought I would have had the co-host option.
So you do, you have to set it up.
Yeah. One thing at a time, you know. It is what it is. Recording is on. We're live on Facebook because this is a conversation that I caught myself one fighting with the phone because here I am using a temporary holder because the heat is too hot and my sticky part of my IATI phone holder in the car continues to fall. But because my vent, I have a Volkswagen and my vent is nifty, I'll just say, the vent clip doesn't go all the way in, so then it doesn't serve its purpose and my phone falls all the time while driving, which defeats the purpose of being safe while driving. Nonetheless, so here we are on this here Monday, post weekend, I'm now 1 week returned from Jamaica and still feeling all feels. But what I wanted to say on this Monday is, what is it that I want to say? Oh, I led with the car for a reason. I found myself recording things that I would typically write in a blog post, and that's because I'm not fully here creatively to get those thoughts together enough to write. I started, and I will continue this discussion or at least post the content that I already recorded, which was me talking about depression, my latest depressive episode, the one that I am still currently in and coming out of, and how I have been cycling in and out of depression all of COVID. For me, depression has existed prior to COVID. It transitioned into depression post-diagnosis of anxiety, and I told my therapist, so yes, therapists need therapy, but I told my therapist that my depression is anxiety driven, to which she agreed with. But now, and one thing that I said in the two separate videos, because as I continued to drop the phone, the video cut off, but was they are now two standalone diagnoses. Depression and anxiety can be comorbid or they can exist together. But for me, it was first generalized anxiety disorder, and then it turned into major depressive disorder. So I do have the two. I don't subscribe to them. I don't label myself all the time. I know what my diagnoses are and just live my life, you know, but that's why I want to talk about it, because we talk about mental health now, we advocate for mental health, but I don't know if people really know how real or what it really looks like when it's happening. And that's what I started to describe in the video. And I'm like, oh, I'm recording these videos, awesome. But that's because I'm having these thoughts right now, right here in this moment. And I'll either attach them to this coffee break recording or I'll post it separately. But I really wanted people to know what it looks like for me, because it could be showing up in anybody like this. So this current episode of depression for me started 3 to 4 weeks ago, prior to my trip to Jamaica, which, like I said, I just returned last Sunday. It was a 6-day long trip. It was almost as if I took a pause from depression. And the reason why I say it was almost as if I took a pause from depression is because all of the things that stressed me were no longer present. Let me break it down a little bit. So my stressors, for one, and I didn't figure this out until I journaled on Thursday, and I talked about the apps that I was using to journal and the different resources that I found. I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not where I want to be is the umbrella statement, right? I am grateful to be at my parents' house. And I shouldn't even have to preface it with this, but I will, because we're streaming on Facebook and I know older generations aren't going to understand this, and I need you to. So I'm grateful to be at my parents' house. I'm grateful to have them as a resource. I'm grateful to have their support. But I also had goals. I've also been living on my own since 2008. And I've also been living alone with my child since he's been born. So not only am I now co-parenting with my parents, I am living in their space, navigating their spaces. And, it's led to some mental health conversations with my mom that I never thought I would have, because I had physical boundaries in place that just didn't ever get crossed before. And, I could remove myself from different things that caused me stress. I could take the time that I needed when I had to, or when I needed to, both needed and had to, because it was necessary and I did have to. And those things were tested, or have been tested, since April, maybe even sooner, because I was out here longer before I actually made the decision to stay. So I say all that to say, stressor number one is I'm not where I expected to be. I have the goal of being in my newly owned home by the end of August. Not sure if I'm speaking it into existence, but there are barriers that are in place, or barriers that are presenting themselves. I'm not going to be in the building working in August for our August PD, which poses another challenge, because now I'm still navigating what does childcare look like during the daytime with Aiden? How am I navigating sitting on Zoom all day, holding other people accountable and participating and remaining engaged and keeping him engaged, allowing my mom to continue to do the work that she needs to do? What does that look like? So that is actually what triggered me Thursday into Friday. The realization that my parents were returning from Jamaica, because we were in the house by ourselves for the duration of the week, that work is resuming and nothing is changing. The sense of normalcy that existed pre-COVID is not coming back yet. And what am I going to do? So here I am very self-aware, in the sense, like, I know it's coming. I know that although I've been in this depressive episode, I'm about to get hit with the need to rest and not think about anything and not do anything. So I text my therapist and I asked her for a session, and by the grace of God, she was able to fit me in at 4:30 that day, and we really walked through it all. And one of the things that she said was, you don't know if you're not going to reach that goal. You don't know. Pretty much focus on the things that you control. One of those things was making sure that the house was prepared, or the common areas were prepared for my parents to come home. So that wasn't an added stressor. So I didn't have to worry about hearing that I let Aiden wreck the house, or we wrecked the house and we didn't clean it up, those things. But these are the realities of my situation in staying home, or being in my parents' home, being in my childhood home, and being an adult in this space. So what does my car in my bedroom look like right now? A hot ass mess. Clutter is everywhere. And it's to the point where I'm not even embarrassed about it anymore, because I'm tired and I've been going through it. But my car looks crazy and my room looks crazy. My room looks like folded laundry everywhere, and then dirty clothes in its pile. And if I wash the dirty clothes, it's going to add to the folded laundry everywhere, or get mixed in with the clean clothes. So this was easier when I was talking to myself. Not gonna lie. But today I woke up and did an hour worth of yoga. And the movement allowed for me to just focus on my body and focus on grounding myself. And because I was looking forward to today's yoga session, I was also able to move into a space of creativity where I was actually getting tasks done. And that's the other reality, the inability to create, the inability to follow through with some things that I was planning on doing, the need to press pause on everything. I know last week I texted Taylor and Joanna was like, I'm gonna put a stop to the business for a little bit. And they're like, nah, what can you do? Just stop it all. I can't think. And I think, and they're laughing now because I wasn't in a space to receive support either. So my tweet that I then posted on Instagram said, if you don't talk about it, or it didn't say this, but the whole premise was, if you don't talk about it, then you can't ask for help. People don't know that you need help. People don't know that you need support. So although I was talking about it in that moment, I was having a whole tantrum and just like, no, stop it all. I didn't really address the issue. So it came full circle when I'm seeing my phone ringing and I'm looking at my phone, Jay's calling and I'm like, I'm hitting that button because you know you have those automated responses on your phone. I gotta call you back, or give me a minute, or I'm on another call. Let me call you later. Like I'm constantly hitting the button, and finally, I actually hit the custom one. I had the energy to hit the custom one. That I was able to type, "Hey, sorry I haven't called you back after all of these times of me saying I'm gonna call you back. I'm actually fighting my way through a depressive episode." And that was when I actually named it. I knew I was going through it. I knew what was going on. I even addressed it with my therapist, but I wasn't ready to ask for the help from my village. From my full village. I started with my therapist, who is absolutely a part of my village. But then I outreached, or I responded to Jay. I think I texted Taylor and Joanne back and said something about it was a tantrum or something like that, like ignore me. I was having a moment. I don't know what I said. Y'all could tell me. But yeah, so I'm getting through it. What yesterday looked like, even Saturday, I think, was me trying, but also me not forcing myself out of my bed, out of my room, unless I was ready. So I spent the majority of the day in my bedroom continuing to watch Tyler Perry's The Oval. I binge watched it, the whole first season of like 20 something episodes between Saturday and Sunday. And although it might not have been a productive use of time where I'm creating or doing anything, guess what? It produced rest, and it produced me being able to finally make my way downstairs, eat. I think I ate dinner with my family. I gave myself the space to finish what I didn't know was the last episode, but then that last episode forced me out of the room to go outside and sit with my family and enjoy the last hour or so that they were still going to be in the pool and stuff. And then today, hey, here I am, woke up, did yoga, created stuff for Umiverse, which I'll talk to y'all about. I'll send an email out later this week. Or I'll have Ty share about it, and get in the pool with Aiden, go to the market. Like I was able to do things. And I think that's what people don't get. It's so many times that I hear suck it up. I still hear suck it up, y'all. Like it's a real thing. But suck it up has been the initial message, and then some support comes after that, suck it up. So here we are. I wanted to give y'all the real of Courtney depression. And my calculations and my timeline could be off. It's probably been much longer than that. But one thing that was very eye-opening to hear, I knew it was getting worse, but to hear my therapist say, it seems like your depression has been getting worse over the past couple of months. And I'm like, damn, that's not even my primary diagnosis. So here we are. I've spoken enough for this moment. I have plans to clean my room, or to at least start to do so. I'm gonna take a garbage bag out to the car, but guess what? It's gonna be one task a day. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I'm gonna stay in this space of creativity that I have been in because I'm enjoying it. It's been a long time for me to create. But yeah, we here. So I know that Fadia was starting to share with us about some feels that she was feeling this morning. And we loving that she's home on this day off, but she's prioritized the day of rest. So I want for y'all, as I'm about to call on Fadia to share, to drop in the chat and share your thoughts, whatever is coming to mind. How y'all doing today? All of those things. And Fadia, you want to tell us where you at?
You know, it's so funny you said that, because I agree, because I accidentally called my therapist yesterday and she was like, wait, we have a session? I was like, no, we don't. And then I realized, like, it's been a lot been going on. I've been on the go, like I've been able to keep myself energized and everything. And then I woke up this morning, like literally, like I felt my body shut down. I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't even open I opened my eyes, like I was having conversation, but I'm not present, realizing I'm having conversation until I like, now that I'm like, oh wait, I talked to this person this morning. And so, and with what you said too, like after cutting my hair, I was looking at my room too. I'm like, my room represent where I am right now. Like I'm taking care of myself, but I'm not 100% there. So it's like, there's things that I'm putting off because I'm focusing on other things that is taking more priority over what I need to take priority of. And I just, like just today, I just feel like low energy, like literally, like even right now, like I'm just like low energy, and I'm just like, I'm like not doing this. I'm like, I don't care if it gets done or not. Like I need to get myself back. And, you know, just realizing like, okay, like what's going on. Just like we did too, like where I am right now, it's like, you know, I've been reflecting on like where I want to be and what I want to do, where I should have been, and the plans that I've had, and have those plans, you know, shifted. And I have, you know, I'm like on the path of like creating everything and figure out what's next for me. It just hit me this morning. Everything just hit me all at once. And it was like, it's forcing me to prioritize. It's forcing me to really looking at the things that I need to focus on, which is more like, you know, not overloading myself, like setting up a schedule. Say, okay, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this tomorrow. It's going to get done. And I don't have to feel like the pressure of getting it done just because other people in my life that need things done, or like, you know, or feeling a certain way. And it's like, you feel like you have to meet the needs, but it's like, how can I meet your needs if I'm not in a good place? Because you're not checking in, and I'm the only one checking on myself. I'm the only one making sure I'm okay. So, but having a therapist and talking to my therapist, like, it's been really helpful. And me calling her accidentally, she was like, is everything okay? Because usually they just call me out of nowhere. And it just, and I wasn't even realizing, it just kind of happened. And yeah, it's this kind of, the past couple of days been like this. Yeah. And today definitely hit me and made me realize, like, okay, you need to take care of things. Like you need to like get back into like the things that you need to do. And then it's funny what you said too. It's like, is it depression? Or, because I know I have anxiety. Like I'm diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. So then I'm like, I'm not anxious. Like I'm not worried about what's gonna happen. But then I'm like, why is my personal space, why does it look like that? That's not, and like, it's not me. Like, yeah. You know, it's been on point, and then lately I just been like, no, I don't care. Just like, yes. Throwing it, like, I don't care. But like, of course, the common area, I'm like, because people come over, I'm like, you know, you got to keep it neat, you got to do that. But everything else, I was like, I don't care. Like, yes. I'm like, who I am, and I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Oh, well.
And that's exactly what was happening with me. It's like, all right, me and Aiden got to be in the car. Guess what? His seat is clear. He could sit in it. Ooh, the front seat is looking a little junky. It has some Dunkin' Donuts bags. It has mail that I picked up at the P.O. box a month ago. Like, what's going on? And it's still not open, by the way. So, Fadia, thank you for being transparent and sharing that. Because I know even me, I talk about mental health, but I haven't talked about like my personal experience with it. So, or I haven't talked directly about it. It's easier when I'm saying like, oh, this is what, all of the topics that I brought in here is something that I'm dealing with. So let me just name that. But that has been my way to like work it out without saying me personally. But I felt like it was so important today for me to say me personally, because I don't know if we get it.
No.
Yes, I don't know if we're getting it. Oh, so thank you for being transparent, and thank you for everyone who is being transparent in this moment. But Joy, I'm gonna read this out loud, because it's real. So Joy wrote, last night I was in a weird space. I felt super sad and lonely. It was hard to sleep, but I allowed myself to feel it, sort of not intentionally, but my usual distractions were not available to me. Today I feel sort of better, but I want to take a nap. What's stopping you?
From taking a nap?
Yes.
Seeing clients. Working. And like, I feel like I would cancel the rest of these sessions. But I think I'm not, well, one of them I might cancel. Sometimes I think like with being like, this being my income, that I have to always work.
Yep.
And I know that that's also not right. And that's also not good for my mental health also. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it helps. Like sometimes it helps like push me through, and then I'm not thinking about myself for an hour. And I'm like distracted by somebody else's story and someone else's life. So then it's like, okay, that wasn't bad. Like you can do this.
So then we push through, right?
So then we push through. But I'm taking a vacation.
Okay. I'm here for it.
I'm taking a vacation in
yes. 2 weeks. I think, because remember, y'all, I keep saying I'm going to stop saying that. Nope, I'm going to say, I think I'm going to let Taylor get you in a minute. But or Joe is one of them. Here's what I think, right? Sometimes we have to make room later on in the week so we can cancel those appointments today. And it reminds me of one of your recent episodes. I don't know if it was last week or the week before because I was behind, but and maybe, I don't even know if it was your podcast for real, Joy, but I think it was because I'm hearing your voice in my head when you were saying that you were telling your clients that you were dealing with something and you needed to cancel. So, yeah. Right. So what makes this time different?
It's a great question.
Yes.
That's a great question. What makes this time different? I think some people understand more of like a tangible thing. Like even like if you like my family, I think I might have said this on the same episode, my family doesn't like do mental health, right? So like if I'm like, oh, I'm anxious, they're like, why? What are you worried about? And I'm like, nothing. Like I'm like, there's something, I don't know what triggered me, I'm just anxious. Or like I'm depressed, and they're like, why? Like you have no reason to be depressed. Uh-huh. So I think sometimes when you're like in those spaces and you're like, hey, I'm not available today because my depression is on 100. Folks don't understand that as much as like, I'm not with it today because I have a cold. And like,
yes.
And not that I'd have to give anybody an explanation about anything, but I do think that like some people struggle with grasping like, so you're saying like you're too anxious to deal with my life? Like, yes, I am.
Yes. I am. And that's it. Yes, period.
Yeah.
No explanation needed.
Yeah.
But that's why I wanted to make this sticky today.
Yeah.
That's what I was feeling today. Because today I woke up in a good place and tomorrow I might not. Mm-hmm. Last night I didn't go to sleep in a really good place.
Me neither. And it's funny you talk about making space at the end of the week so you can like push stuff back. I like on Friday I just have therapy. And then I don't have anything else because I feel like I need space to disconnect from the beginning of my week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will not make anything. Like, no, Friday is unavailable.
That's it. That's it. Mm-hmm. Cancel 2 appointments, Joy. I don't know. I feel like pushing you. Cancel them. Cancel them all.
I might.
Cancel them all.
I love it.
And I do that too. There's days I'm like, I'm not doing any work today. and you will be okay. Because
And
people are
that's it.
asleep.
That's it. That's it. And y'all, it's tough. But this is the realness of it. Like, this is the realness. This is also showcasing how we do push through. So I think the stigma is that if someone is depressed, they're automatically suicidal. That ain't, for speaking personally, that's not my case. And I remember having a conversation with a family member. It wasn't even a conversation. They made a comment saying, "Oh, I hope you don't want to like hurt yourself," or "I hope you've never considered hurting yourself," or something like that. And I think my response wanted to be, "Why would you think that? Or what makes you think that?" I've never been suicidal. I have tattoos that highlight suicide awareness because I have lost people to suicide. Whole different tangent, whole nother conversation. We're going to bring that topic up another day because I want to stay here. We got stuff in the comments. Joe wrote, "Here we are, being present is enough. I'm here. I got up. I showered. I made it to the store late, but I'm here." That's it. Sometimes that's all we got. Showing up is it. This is what you get today. This is what you're getting today. And I'm showing up, and I'm showing up as best as I can. Best as I can. Neil wrote, "Definitely feeling like I'm not where I want to be. At the same time, I'm forcing myself to be conscious of effectively using my time to explore my career options. Still trying not to be too hard on myself." And that's a word right there, because we can make it worse for ourselves by staying in that negative aspect of the mindset. And that's what I was fighting this weekend. Like, Courtney, let it go. You're gonna get there. You're gonna own the house. You're gonna get to where you want to be. Mr. Brown was echoing the same thing. I gotta stop it thrown my way at one point because I was spiraling. I was spiraling on Thursday and Friday. It was something. Ty said, "I'm grieving, but I'm also feeling so many feelings from before my dad passed away. I've been feeling really clingy, but also wanting to be detached from everything and anyone." Isn't that an internal fight? I had to pause there because that's very descriptive, and I've been there. So I see you, Ty. My go-to coping mechanism is to avoid thinking about my dad and be overproductive in work or other projects. Like, I'm on bereavement from work, but still been working. Wow. Ty, do you want to talk about that a little bit more, or was that enough for you?
That was enough.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on what Ty said? I'm still processing.
I just want to say I'm proud of her for showing
Yep.
up. Even just coming here, like, this alone is reaching for the support. This alone is an action. It's like you're literally doing what you need to do to survive the day. And you can come here to this space to hear a word of encouragement, to hear empowerment, and to be with like minds. And I just commend you for this effort alone. I'm with you. I support you. I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm proud that you showed up today, and I'm proud that you're fighting for your day.
See, and this is why we in this space, because I didn't have those words right now. So go ahead, Joe. I'm here for it. But Ty, like Joe said, I'm gonna echo it. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that I text you it, because sometimes, I send y'all some text messages and it gets overbearing. Or at least I think so. This is imposter syndrome dropping in. And I'm like, but no, we need this word, so I'm gonna send it out anyway. Doubt kicks in, y'all. Doubt is real. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Joe said, "I love this space. Gratitude to the openness and safety of this space." It is. And this is why we have to have real combos. Simone, y'all. So let me tell y'all about Simone. Simone and I work together on Unit FG at which is an child and adolescent mental health unit inpatient one at the hospital. And I haven't been able to get rid of her since. So Simone said she's been listening for the last couple of minutes and can honestly say this is really dope. Love what you're doing. Oh, but she has to go. I love it, Simone. Thank you. Joy said, I felt like March and April Joy with pajamas on. Yes, she emailed her 3:30, y'all, so we're going to stay with it. Shay shared, I just don't understand how we know what's going on with ourselves, but we get stuck and cannot break out.
I want to say something on that. I think for me, what's helping me get out of this is my aunt. It's like she has a radar. I don't know why. Because I know like a couple weeks ago, I mentioned like how she's dealing with my cousin who's diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like, I'm trying to like, no, I'm good. I'm take care of this. Like, and then this morning I released the episode with him today where I revealed like I cut my hair with him, and I was listening over and over to what he was saying. And then my aunt just called me and was like, I don't know, it's like she can sense it, because she's like, she can sense it even I'm trying to like hide it. And then she was like, you know what, come this weekend, come up, just come up, because she's like, it's like, she's like, because I said to her, like, I know this weekend is my mom's anniversary. So, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be hard and I'm going to try. And I think that's also what's contributing to how I've been feeling too. And then I'm listening to my cousin talking about like how, like, why are we stressing the things in life that we shouldn't be stressing about? Why are we letting those things control us? And I'm sitting here looking at him like he's like, his health condition is making him have a different perspective, and he's only 21. And so that's why, like, today I had to look at myself. I'm like, yo, why am I allowing myself to feel this way? Like, and you have to let yourself feel it. You have to let yourself go through it so you can, like, get on the other side of it and be, like, more positive and, like, do the things that you need to do. And then I just got up. I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take a shower. And I just took a cold shower. I was like, I'm just going to go take a cold shower just to try to help me get my energy back. But I think, like, sometimes we are so hard on ourselves, and we need to kind of be, like, a little bit light as well on ourselves. It's okay to feel what we're feeling, but we are way too hard. We are way too hard. And we are where we need to be in our lives at the moment. We are, because that's where we need to be. And it's also taking the time to say, okay, in the space that I am right now, what is it that is trying to teach me? What is it that is trying to make me pay more attention to that I'm probably neglecting or I'm not aware of, that I need to focus on that so that I can get out of the funk that I'm in, so that I'm not feeling what I'm feeling. So it's like, it's forcing us to look at ourselves and what's going on so we can make those changes that we need to make.
Fadia, you said something to me, and it resonated with me because it's all about accountability. It's all about being present. And here I am, what I'm doing, like, I got this far. And with that assessment, I realized that I'm the first one that I overwhelm, and I'm the last one I forgive. You know what I mean? And that's not kind. And if I'm not functional, then nothing that I'm in charge of can be functional. And if I'm allowing certain things and behaviors or happenstances to, like, occur in my life and run rampant, it reflects on how I do business, how I mother, how I daughter, and how I sister. So I really have to stay grounded and stay present in who I am and keep reminding myself of who I am and what I bring. And, I'm just so glad that you're having that time with your friend this weekend, because it's going to be really, really important for you to be, like, around.
Y'all doing it today. Y'all showing out because we on Facebook Live. I know that's not the answer. Listen, for those of you who have not been in this space physically on Zoom, I had to make sure I clear that up. Physically on Zoom, you have not been in this space. This is how this conversation looks all the time, or these conversations look like this all the time. Sometimes we are not recording and it gets so much realer. So you really have to get in the Zoom to talk with us while we go deep. And most times I would be saying, okay, y'all, I'm tired. Let's get off. At 1:45. We can keep calm and carry on. But the thing is, as Black women, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it, and people need to see us talking about it, and people need to hear about it, which is why I'm glad we're on Facebook. So if you are not in here, you are seeing the conversation and you're seeing the realness of it, because this is real. Whew, y'all are going in. So Shay is sharing, I don't know if we answered the part about getting stuck and cannot break out. Part of it is a cycle. Part of it is hormonal sometimes. Part of it is, go ahead, Taylor.
I wanted to speak on that because I think like what Joy said is real. And I think a lot of it has to do with the sense of duty, and a sense of obligation, and also generational transgressions. Sometimes we inherit things that have nothing to do with us. And I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, when assessing, well, why don't I just take that day? Or why do, like, you know, Joyce said something that really resonated with me when, like, I need a mental health day. I tell them I'm sick. Like, y'all know I don't get no sick. Like, I've never been sick before. Stop it. Like, I don't get sick. That's not me. But you got to tell them you sick, because you can't tell them you tired and you need a break. Like, and it's just like, there's always this sense of duty that I feel like, for me, stops me from keeping it real, and stops me from saying, you know what, no, pause, or stops me from being true to myself, because it's always this sense of duty. And it's like, I feel like that sense of duty it was learned. It was learned that, you know, watching my grandmother, watching my mother, watching my great grandma, watching my aunts, that I have a job to fulfill to others, therefore I can't tend to myself. And I watch them do it too. And I have to constantly remind my mother, like, mommy, do what you want. Don't do what you think you need to do. Don't worry about looking like the bad guy. If you have to be the bad guy today, then be the bad guy. Who gonna stop you? Like, what is gonna happen if you're the bad guy today? What's gonna happen? You gotta be true to yourself. And I feel like that is like an issue that I find within myself to have to constantly check. Like, your duty is to yourself first. Your duty is to making sure you're healthy, because when you go home, who do you go home to? You. There ain't nobody here. I'm here by myself and y'all right now. I see y'all every day more than I see people in real life. Mm-hmm. I don't know why Joanne laughing. She knows the truth. But that's my 2 cents on it.
And what you're talking about is what is called the strong Black woman schema, what is called the Black superwoman syndrome, like all of those things that I seek to debunk. Like, no, leave me alone. Low me. Like, no. Let me rest. Let me rest. We deserve rest. So Shay said another word, which is, I think sometimes I get comfortable in my pain because I'm afraid that my happiness is going to be too much or overwhelming. I'm gonna pause there because she said more oh no, let me finish this because I just got a glance. Or I'm going to feel like I don't deserve it because I didn't work hard enough for it. And no, Shay, you're not weird. You're not weird, because you do deserve it, but sometimes we don't feel like we do. And then we do things to sabotage those good things that are happening. Why is this good thing happening to me? I can't hear y'all and all of y'all are talking.
I'm looking at Joanne.
Because let me tell you, I have a receipt. One of my clients booked Coachella, and when I tell you, it was 2 days, I couldn't believe it. I was like, nah, no, okay, whatever. And then the invoice came, like, I sent the invoice a long time ago, and then she just dumped the funds. So the funds hit, and I still couldn't believe it. I was like, nah, no, I still live with my parents. This is stupid. Like, how is it that I see this much money for having a conversation on behalf of somebody. This is stupid. This is dumb. Like, it was almost like it was a lot of disenfranchising and disempowering beliefs I said out loud about myself. And I had to, like, I didn't check myself. I was in a whole funk about a really good thing for like 4 business days and a weekend day. And then, like, on a Sunday, I was at church and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm here to do this. This is my offering to the earth, to make these women millionaires and then go die somewhere happy. Like, who am I to not know who I am? You know what I mean? Like, how dare I not dare I? Like, it was the stupidest thing, but I get it. It's beyond imposter syndrome at some points. It's almost like self-sabotage is like a real life thing. Because we get real comfortable in the complacence of life and the mundaneness of life, that to dream, it seems audacious. You know, to even make an action to it or doing a thing is almost provocative or too bold, or, you know, it's like, why not? You know, and the why not attitude sometimes dissipates when we see success be so tangible and so.
You are preaching.
Yes.
So last week or the week before that, in the last few weeks, a lot of things have been happening. And so one of the things was I was in Vogue, and I was like, people probably think this is stupid. Like, it's not even a lot of words. And I like totally like broke myself down. And I was talking to my friend and she was like, why are you saying any of this? I was like, I don't know. Because like, what if it's not even smart enough? She was like, what are you talking about? Your name is in Vogue magazine. I don't care if it said like Boo Boo the Fool. Your name is in something that nobody else, not like that, nobody, right, that you're talking to in this moment. As in her, is in. She was like, so stop. And I was like, but why can't I just ever be excited about things? Because and then it feels like what Joanne was saying, like, you don't deserve it. Like, oh, but am I even smart enough? Somebody else could have wrote something better. Like, all of this, like, self-sabotage and not believing in yourself, all that shit is so fucking real. And you are not weird, sis, for how you feel. Because sometimes it does feel like, do I even deserve happiness? Like,
yes, you do.
I mean, I know that. Like, I deep down, I know that I do. I deep down, sometimes not that deep. Sometimes like real surface, I do. I get it. But then there's other times that it's like, oh, well, maybe it already came to me and I missed that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's a real feeling that shows up a lot. It's a feeling that, for me, showed up even, whew, he's not on right now, but he might be watching on Facebook. Even as I was boarding the plane, I was questioning, do I deserve this? Yes, I know I do. But still questioning it. And yes, that self-sabotage is real. Every time I get invited to be on a podcast, I'm like, who, me? Y'all want to hear me talk? Because I be rambling. Me? But the reality is, we got shit to say and people want to listen because we know what we're talking about. And being anxious, experiencing depression, don't need to stop you. Accepting that is the hard part. You could go through it and know that part. You could be aware of it. And that's, for me, that's what gets me through it. That's what gets me through the moment. Accepting that the moment is here, resting to allow myself the break that I need, and then getting back up. As Joy just shared, she wrote in the chat, I self-sabotage and the fear of success leaves me stuck. Not weird at all. It's real. Happiness always feels hard to achieve, said Taylor. Ooh. Put that on a card. Please.
But you know what's crazy though?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just us.
It's not.
I agree, Joy. And if you know me and you here every day, you know my like big thing every day is what am I doing to make myself happy? Like, because I feel like I refuse to continue this life post-COVID, during COVID, mid-COVID, pre-COVID, whatever, like feeling like I have to, like people say, I don't deserve this. Like, I do deserve this. Like, I don't know why, like, it's like you said, it's in our heads, but I refuse to be a person that lives like that anymore. Like, I'm not living like that. Like, I told Courtney the other day, I was like, they giving us all this COVID relief. I still got a job and I'm taking advantage. Like, oh, you're not gonna make me pay my car note for the next 2 months? Boom, heard you. I'm not paying it. I'm taking that money and let's go to, like, Courtney wanna go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to Puerto Rico. I'm getting crab legs. I'm gonna do whatever. Because at the end of the day, I could drop like a fly tomorrow.
Yes.
And that, what they gonna do? They're just gonna take the car. They're gonna give somebody my job. Like, we gotta stop living like that. And I'm not saying go all willy-nilly irresponsible. But, no, not but, and, like, make yourself happy. Like, if it's, like, I just want to be happy. At this point, I just want to be happy. And if it's not leading to happiness, then I don't want it. That's why, like, when Joy has said, like, you know, sanity is important. It took me a minute to realize it. Like, I always want to be responsible. But being responsible was making me insane. I was insane because I was trying to be so responsible at such a young age. And it's like, I am doing all this stuff and I'm not happy. And I'm not happy and I'm unhealthy. They told me I had high blood pressure. I was like, bro, how? I'm 26. How I got high blood pressure? How? They did a whole stress test on me, looked through my family history, everything. Could not find anything to tell me why I have high blood pressure. COVID hit, we stopped going to work, boom, blood pressure all the way down. We gotta stop, like, driving ourselves crazy. Like, happiness is important. Lack of happiness kills.
Yep. Yes. In more ways than one.
And lack of happiness makes a vagina dry. But we're not gonna go there today.
I love her. We can't. But I was gonna say, Joy, listen. We all are great women. We all have, you know, different expertise in different areas, and we're able to come together and share out. And I think the realness is just us being so vulnerable and taking from one another. And I think, like, from meeting you guys, like, this space has been such an inspirational space for you to put, you know, not just push through, but to work on the things and be able to talk about it, because there's not a lot of people you can, like, sit here and say, hey, this is what's going on with me, and for them to understand. And so you find yourself just sitting there and, like, you kind of, like, you know, you keep yourself, you know, you shelter yourself because you don't want them to, like, have any type of negative thoughts because you know you're having it yourself, you're self-sabotaging yourself, and you want to be positive, and like, you know, like Taylor said, like, we have to stop doing that. Like, we are doing something that is meaningful and other people sees it, and we need to, like, embrace it and be happy. And, like, it's okay that if we're not where we're meant to be, it's happening for a reason. Or choices that we made in the past and where we are right now is shaping where we are going and how we're moving forward. And we just have to embrace it and just appreciate it, and then just not be so hard on ourselves.
I struggle with not being hard on myself. I'm much better than I used to be, but that's a thing that I told my therapist, I was like, I think I'd, like, passively work on it, but I was like, it's a thing that I need to consciously work on every day, because I will beat myself up over, like, and sometimes it's small and subtle, but sometimes it's like, why would you say that to yourself? If somebody had said that to you, you would have tried to fight them. Why would you say it to yourself?
Yep. And I think that when people are beginning to have conversations of gratitude and using affirmations, that's why some of the suggestions are that you are telling yourself something you would tell a friend. How would you encourage a friend? All right, boom, now say what you would say to your friend to yourself. Woo, we are our worst critic, but we could be our biggest cheerleader. So cheer yourself on. So we know that our mental health definitely impacts our physical health. Ooh, we touching on some real stuff here. Joe, I want you, and Ty wants you to sprinkle some of that onto her bookings. So send some my way, send some on Joy's clients, send some to Fadia, Taylor, everybody, Neil, all of the energy that you were sharing about Coachella, boom, sprinkle. I think I lost my place in the chat. Give me. Blood pressure.
While you're looking for your spot on the chat, I just want to publicly declare how happy and joyous is Joy in short shorts on Instagram was for me. It wasn't recent, it was a few posts back, but Joy had on some short shorts. And when I tell you, I threw my head back and was like, yes! From the depths of my whole entire body. It just brings me so much joy to see Joy have joy on Instagram. And if y'all ever have like a moment, y'all better go on Instagram and go on Joy page and just look at her having a good time. Because I'm telling you, when she smiles with her whole mouth open, it just gives you like, ah! It makes you happy.
Yes. So you can find Joy on Instagram at the Joy of Social Work, just so you can gather all of that joy. Because it was multiple posts, wasn't it? It was more than one post we were seeing short. So yes, Joy.
Girl, the wedding weekend when she was twerking, I got my life.
Yes.
I was there in my mind.
She had her leg out. Like, Joy was there, y'all. But we have to embrace those moments. You see, laughter is some medicine. It is. So I want to talk a little bit about this anxious as fuck tee that I love to wear. This is my second anxious as fuck tee. So pardon those of you who are on Facebook, I do person this space. I also am a therapist, but I'm a therapist that embraces self-expression as you need to say it. With my high school students, I make sure that I allow them to express themselves in whatever way they feel like they need, but I also teach them alternative methods to say the same thing without curses. Because I am counseling and providing therapy for children who look like me. So, this anxious as fuck tee means so much to me. And I remember the first time that I saw Joy with it. And I think I even remember the first time I wore it to work. And even Balance like questioned whether or not it was appropriate because I know everybody knew what the AF meant. For one, and because we've been on here for an hour, for one, those of you who are just joining, I was sharing out loud about me personally and my 2 mental health diagnoses, which is generalized anxiety disorder. That is what I started therapy with. Yes, therapists need therapy. But 2, major depressive disorder. That was anxiety driven, and hey, it hasn't since gone away. It's manageable. We get there. We have our moments. We sit down when it's not, and when it gets debilitating, and that is what it is. But this anxious as fuck shirt just means the world, because I need you to see that, yes, this beautiful Black girl who is constantly smiling, showing up, creating spaces, being a bomb mom, doing all of the things, creating resources, collaborating with people, going on vacation, has her moments where she can't get out of her head, and that is the reality. And sometimes that sends my ass to the couch, to the bed, to not want to talk to anybody, to be irritable, to be stuck, amongst a whole bunch of other stuff. So when you see this shirt, know that if I look like I have a resting bitch face, which we need to get rid of that. If I look like I'm mean or like I'm upset, if I look like I'm not there, it's probably my anxiety kicking my ass and I'm trying to sort out or slow down my damn thoughts. So yeah, sometimes I overthink. Sometimes I can't get it together. Sometimes I got 20 thoughts hitting me at once. Sometimes I need to close the computer. Sometimes I can't process what's happening. Sometimes I can only say I'm anxious. I can't even tell you why. And other times I'm good. But I'm going to have this in every color so I can wear it every day if I need to. At the Joy of Social Work.
I got you.
Yes.
Tell me what colors you need.
Joy, put my turquoise to the side because you know I'm pressing the order button when we get off.
Yes, because I need that peach one that Taylor just bought.
Got mine already. So.
But that is real. That is the realness of it. So shout out to my sorors who have just joined on Facebook. I love y'all. Ooh, I'm so happy y'all are in the conversation.
You let me know if y'all need some red ones.
You know I want a red one.
I know you. I was already. My cousin has a red one. She's a Delta, and I was like, I gotta get Courtney a red one.
You know I want
a blue one.
Yes.
I need a pink one.
Yes. So we're talking about a lot today, but it was necessary because for those of you who have been rocking with me, those of you who are in this room right now, those of you who I speak to on FaceTime, or in a group chat or whatever, you know that I have been struggling and I have been pulling teeth to to bring these conversations to this space on a daily basis. And in reality, I've also been considering like pivoting the space and trying to maybe decrease it because I felt like I couldn't carry the load anymore or whatever the case was. And here's why. Because I was not naming, like I was not fully naming the depression and anxiety that were driving me to drag my feet. So here we are. I have named it. It is out. I stood at the table because I snapped on my mom yesterday. And I don't know if I actually apologized to her. I think it was one of those apologies where I'm gonna say what's wrong and not really say I'm sorry, which we need to stop doing. Those words matter. We need to say those two words. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like we need to say those things. But I came back to her and said, Mom, I'm actually really stressed because my credit score went down again and I don't feel any closer to purchasing a house than I lost my train of thought. I thought I would have been further along in the process. I think that's how I actually closed it out. Then she said some encouraging words and I said, I'm going back to bed though. So those are the things. So So how do you get out of it? Because we talked about feeling all the feels and acknowledging it. And is it something, I'd rather ask this question first. Is it something that you get out of? And the reality is, it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
I look at what it teaches me. You know what I mean? Like it's teaching me grace. I look at it what it's teaching me because it could be doing something to me, like depression or anxiety can do something to me. But what is this moment teaching me? It's teaching me grace. It's teaching me patience. It's teaching me to be kind to myself. It's teaching me to be more aware of zooming out and looking at the bigger picture, not just so much as the little image that I'm seeing. I gotta zoom out sometimes, and that alone is bravery. You know, it teaches me a lot of things. And once I really look at what it's doing for me, as opposed to what it's doing to me, it's kind of easy to identify where I went wrong and how to get out of it. Because there's no process. We can't even make a coupon for get out of depression free. You know what I mean? There's no roadmap to it. It's specific to each person, especially the circumstances that we face that bring us down this path. But seeing what it teaches us and the value of that valley is really what helps us like have a little bit more grace for getting through it. Because we have to get through, we have to go through it. We can't just jump out. There's no ejection button. You know, it's a journey. We have to learn how to just.
Joe, you putting yourself on mute before your thought finishes, girl. But yeah, I think Taylor just summarized it well. The only way out is through. And that's why avoidance is never the best route. But also know the difference between avoidance and rest. Or taking a break. Whatever you want to call it. Whether it's rest, taking a break, giving yourself a moment, taking some time. There's nothing wrong with saying I need a break. There's nothing wrong with taking time. There's nothing wrong with compartmentalizing or putting things in a box and dealing with them later, as long as you reopen that box and get back to them. So just to name, getting out of it is not the answer. It's what are you doing to work through it, and what are you putting in your toolbox after you work yourself through it? What can you use later when it happens again, when it shows up again? The thing is, and what I was talking about in the videos that I was recording this morning, that will be posted on probably YouTube and, so happy I didn't drink that, YouTube and Instagram, because they were so real, is my trip to Jamaica was the break in between it all. And that's why it hit me so hard when I got back. Not only was I missing the person that I went to see, but all of the things that I left here, physically left here, and didn't think about once I boarded the plane, we're still here when I got back and came back to them, and they smacked me in the face much harder than where I left them. So stress is normal. It's when the stress becomes unmanageable that it leads to being a mental health issue or problem. And as it persists and worsens, can lead to depression, a cycle, repetitive cycle, mental health, mental illness, mental diagnoses, things like that. So my working through it started with me acknowledging that it was coming and being self-aware, me calling for help from my therapist so I could really talk through it, but that was also after I journaled, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, because sometimes I avoid the journaling because I know it's going to bring all the stuff out. So I'm going to just name that. I avoid journaling sometimes. It's going to bring it all out. Me following through with the notes that I took during my therapy session. And let me say, if you're not taking notes during therapy, start now. Because sometimes you need to go back to it and look at it, and other times just let it be there. The mere fact that you wrote it down or typed it or wrote it in your notes in your phone commits it to memory. And then me taking the time that I needed, me taking advantage of my parents being back and not having to fully be on with Aiden. Allowing my brain to take that break and not have to be an autopilot or not have to figure out, oh, what are we going to do today so we don't drive each other crazy. And then what it really looked like when I was taking myself out of it was staying in the bed and overindulging in binge watching TV until I finished the series or caught up. Caught up is the word, because the series is still ongoing, as terrible as it may be. So, and then making a plan and committing to what it was. I had something to look forward to this morning, and that's like what really got me going, which was yoga. And yoga with somebody who I felt safe with. My friend was facilitating yoga. So if you support your friends in that way too. If you have a friend who is doing something that can contribute to your wellness, boom, do it. But that also comes with asking for help. So last week I spoke a lot about seeking joy. This week I'm grounding myself. And we talked about how happiness goes hand in hand. How are you seeking happiness this week? Then becomes the question. Because these times come, they go. Life is a roller coaster as we know it, but actually normalizing that it is and accepting that it is and going with it as it flows, but also staying tuned in with you and who you are so you can stay on top of it or get ahead of it as much as you can. It's much better if you see it coming than it smacking you in the face. Any closing thoughts? I didn't hear you, Fadia.
Being gentle with yourself. Something I say to myself all the time is, may I be gentle with myself. May I be gentle with myself with being good to me. May I be gentle with myself and whatever it is, just saying to yourself, may I be gentle with this? Because like when you allow yourself to be gentle, you're allowing yourself to feel, you're allowing yourself to love yourself, you're allowing yourself to accept the things that you do not like or that are coming up that's making you feel discomfort. Because if it doesn't make you feel discomfort, you're not going to be able to change the things that you do not like. You're not going to be able to find the happiness that you're looking for because you're just comfortable. Yep. You have to get out of it. And that's something that I've been learning. And, you know, it's up to you to do it. And you can reach out for help, and, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to help for whoever is willing to listen and help out, but find your happiness. And if you have to, you know, check out, lag off, whatever it is, just to give yourself that time, is take it. But you need to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to be where you are. It's okay to be in the space that you are. But do the things that you need to do for you. Love yourself the way you will, like you said, what would you tell your friends? If you will tell your friends to take care of themselves, and you will tell them, like, do this, then take that some advice important to you. Pour into yourself. But you got to be gentle.
Yes. What other messages are we leaving with the world? Because now we accessing the world here on Facebook. We couldn't keep this conversation closed. This is a conversation that needed to be an open door, and I'm so glad it was. And I'm so glad it's recorded. Shout out to No Tech Issues today. Shout out to Zoom being on my side. The mic's working. Cloud recording. All of it. Because y'all know I go through it.
I'm waiting for Taylor to accept my challenge.
Oh, wait, you challenged me?
Yes, I did.
I didn't get it. Hold on. You know, I never back down from a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm literally looking right now.
I may need to send it again.
You could get this work right after Tanya. We finishing today. While I'm looking, can you resend it? Because it's not showing. And my closing remark is, whatever you need to do to be healthy, well, and happy, hashtag do that shit.
Yeah. Okay, y'all. So a little bit of backstory. That is supposed to go on a shirt, and I didn't like the design that was coming up because it wasn't big enough. But guess what?
Oh, we need to make that shirt.
We're getting some shirts because I'm going to go drop by. For one, Joy shared with me who she's been purchasing her shirts from, and then I can still use my printer, my local printer that I like to use. So those shirts will be coming soon, as well as some more I'm Not Superwoman shirts. So stay tuned because I need to disconnect from, is it Printify? I got to disconnect from Printify. They're still having a lot of COVID issues and I don't have time. I want y'all to get y'all stuff on a timely basis. So, oh gosh. For those of you who are tuned in elsewhere, we are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. The schedule may change. I don't know what my work schedule looks like, y'all. I don't know what it looks like. I don't. And because we're virtual, it might get a little crazy. So bear with me next week as I sort it out. We might have to shift and pivot elsewhere. And I know a lot of people would love to join the conversation at nighttime. So maybe that is the shift that we're making. Yeah, look, I didn't know y'all would be so excited about nighttime sessions.
Sometimes in the day, it's hard, you know. Like,
I've been waiting for this nighttime segment since the beginning. Like,
especially when work comes, you know, knocking. Sometimes it's hard to
disconnect. So
yeah.
That's the reality of it. So
I'm all for it.
I invite you all to. I'm looking for the link. I made the Facebook group. Can't find it. It exists. But what I am looking for, here's what I'm looking for. I'm inviting you all to join the Facebook group. You can search it because I can't find it. I don't know if I made it under Court Chanel or under Courtney Chanel, which is my own personal Facebook, but it's Breaking Ground with Courtney Chanel.
I'm gonna drop the link in.
Thank you. Why is it not showing up?
And on the text too, the group chat.
Thank you. Because then I'll copy it and drop it on Facebook as well. we are getting the online community started for all of this because the conversation must continue. I know sometimes we are not seeing the emails as fast as they go out or when they go out last minute. And quite frankly, that is nothing but depressive energy that prevents me from sending them or scheduling them to go out at 8 a.m. or whenever I had them go out before. So bear with as I get myself back into my regular routine of structure and follow through as I transition back into my role as department chair of the social work team and driving programming at my school for student wellness and mental health. And as we continue to have real conversations, because they're hard to have. When we're talking about things that make us feel vulnerable, we have to remember that there is still some fear behind that. The fear of, if I share this, what will people think of me? If I share this, is somebody going to use this against me? If I share this, what happens next? Am I going to feel better? Am I sharing it for a reason? Is it like, what's the impact going to be? And the reality is, for everybody that's in this space, sharing it it decreases the stigma, brings about the sense of normalcy, but also a sense of community and sisterhood in experiencing or seeking mental health and wellness in whatever that balance may look like for you. So until tomorrow, see y'all at 1. Share the video. It's on Facebook. It's on Facebook Live, so the live should be available. That makes it so much easier for me to not have to quickly edit.
I need the link.
Let me see if I could drop this now.
I was trying to look it up earlier.
Wait, which link?
If you're your friend, you can just share it from your page, I think, on Facebook.
That's probably why I need to. But wait, is it the Courtney Chanel one or the
It's on the Courtney Chanel one. Copy and paste this.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm following you. I don't know.
Oh, Facebook is so complicated and it shouldn't have to be. I think that's the actual embed link, but bear with me as I try and figure out life. I don't know how this works. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna find the link and then I'll drop it everywhere it needs to be dropped.
Wait.
Oh, Taylor dropped it on. Oh, there you go, Taylor. Copy link. Taylor, why can't I find my own Facebook group?
I don't know. That's a good question, but I found it.
Appreciate you. So click that link and join the Facebook group before I end the meeting. And thank you all who joined on Facebook. I am so happy that you tuned in. Conversations like these, I'm always leery about opening to the public, but felt like it was super necessary to have today. So hopefully you will join us as we continue to break ground, and stay tuned for more updates from our store, more things that are coming your way, and more candid moments from me when they happen randomly. So hopefully you will continue, or hopefully you will see, and this is just me giving myself grace, space, and time to get it together, but hopefully you will see my streamlined content on Instagram that has been scheduled and thoughtfully planned out for you through the different apps and technology that I use to bring you mental health and wellness education and awareness. But I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all for showing up for you today, but also showing up for me and for being here. And we'll be there. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.